Assignment number 8 is for you to create your own classroom website for your future classroom to share information with your students and their parents. In Blackboard, you have listed all of the pages that should be included. The names of the pages are listed in parentheses. The type of information that I want on the page is also listed for each bullet. And if there's any additional information or instructions for you, they're in italics behind the name of the web page. So you'll notice you need a home page that welcomes students and their parents to your site with a image that relates to your web page. It could be a picture of what your classroom may look like, or it could be a picture of um, something related to your content area. You should have an About Me page, which is information about you. Please remember to keep it professional and remember who your audience is, students and parents, and include a professional photograph of yourself. Include a page about copyright information, fair use guidelines, and links for students to sites like Citation Machine or BibMe, where they can create um, citations easily. Make sure that any informational links that you share are age level appropriate. You should have an announcements page that gives deadlines, due dates, upcoming events, things like the homework for the week, spelling lists, vocabulary words, reminders to bring back permission slips, reminders that uh, guest speakers will be coming, things of that nature, things that will update on a weekly basis. This will be a specially formatted page called an announcements page, and you should have 3 announcements included. You should have a classroom rules page that tells what your rule lists your rules and what the consequences of your rules are. You should have an assignments page that explains your grading policy, like how much each thing is worth, 10% for homework, whatever. And a description of any major projects that would happen in your class during the year. For example, most English classes have a research paper. Most science classes have a science project, and so on. You're going to have a calendar page in which you are going to embed a Google Calendar and have at least 3 events included. You're going to have a helpful links page with links to information online that can help students when they are working on homework or assignments. This is going to be a list page with a custom created list, and you'll need to have 3 links. And finally, last but not least, you'll need a media page in which you are going to embed a YouTube video that teaches something in your content area. All right, so let's get started on how to create this. We are going to open up Google Sites. So you can do this by going to the ASU homepage. And clicking on email and logging in to the current student email site. Once you log in, we are going to use the Sites feature. Also, later on, I'm going to show you how to use the Calendar feature as well. So click on Sites. The first time you do so, you are not going to see the list that you see here on mine. This is because I've already created previous websites that are listed here that I can click on and edit. All you will see is a Create button. Please click the Create button. For other activities, not this assignment, there are templates that you can browse to see pre-made websites that all you have to do is replace their information with your own content. However, for this assignment, we will not be using a blank template. For this assignment, I want you to give your site a name. It can be something as simple as Miss Johnson's computer class website, or it could be the Techno Geeks. whatever you decide. Type in the name there. Please notice that it takes the name that you type in for your website and creates a URL. So your website address will be this entire thing, sites.google.com/a/myalasu.edu slash whatever the name of your site is without the spaces. It replaces spaces and punctuation marks with dashes. The only other thing we're going to do here is to select the theme. So when you click on select theme, simply choose a background that you can live with. If you decide later that you want to change that, you're welcome to do so, but select the theme that you'd like to work with simply by clicking it. If you click more options, just so you are aware, you can also decide who can access your website. Because this is Alabama State University Google Apps, by default, anybody who is logged into Alabama State University Google Apps can search for your site up here at the top. You can change it where only people you specify with email addresses can access the site. Please don't do that at this time, because if you forget to include my email address, then I can't access your site and therefore I won't be able to grade it. So please don't do that at this time. The other option is to also let this website be public on the web, making it available on the www for anybody, not just people at Alabama State. So those are your options. So the only two things we did today was to type in the name and select a theme, and now we can click create. Once your site is created, there are a couple of buttons that show up. The first one looks like a little pencil, is the edit button. The second one looks like a paper with a plus sign on it, is to add a new page. The third one is a more button, which allows you to do things like change things about the page itself, change the template or the background, change things about the website, manage the site, so on and so forth. Okay, and then the last option is the share, which I've already previously mentioned. All right, in this case, we want to edit the page. And on the home page, you want to type a welcome message for your students and parents. Welcome to my classroom website. This is a tool designed for students and parents to access information and resources that will be helpful in making this a successful year. Okay, whatever you want to type for your welcome message, please feel free to do that. Notice across the top, there's some of the common formatting buttons. For example, I can choose the font style that I want to use, the font size. I can make it bold, italics, underlined, which I don't want. I can change the color of the font. I can highlight the font. I can make the words that are on the screen into a link to some other web page. Number lists, bullet lists, indenting, and aligning the words. Okay, so I can make the words look how I want them to look. And the other thing that's supposed to be included on your welcome page is a relevant picture. We've done this many times. You can go to your favorite search engine, to the images search, and look for something that would be relevant to your content area, or look for a picture of a classroom. Please remember to abide by copyright law. You might want to find copyright free or copyright friendly images, or ask for permission to use others' images. For demonstration purposes, I'm simply going to look for a lab picture. Click full size image. I'm going to copy the address of the picture. And then on my web page, back in Google Sites, I simply click where I want that picture to go, click the Insert menu, insert an image, right? And click on Web Address, paste the URL, and click OK. Then you'll notice that the image shows up on the screen. If I click it, a menu bar shows up, toolbar shows up, where I can put the picture on the left side of the page, the center of the page, or the right side of the page. There's a small, medium, and large option. Right now the picture is in the original size that it was posted on the internet, but I can make it small, medium, or a large version of that picture. Whichever one you decide looks the best, select that, and then decide whether you want it left, centered, or right. Okay. If there were lots of words on the screen, you could also decide whether or not to turn the wrap on. Currently wrapping is off, which means there would be no words down the sides of the pictures. But if I had several paragraphs, I could actually make the words wrap around the sides of the picture as well. Once you're satisfied with your home page, always remember to click the Save button in the top right-hand corner. And you can come back to this page at any time and edit it once again. All right. To add another page, you click the New Page button. And remember, our next page is About Me. And click Create. So again, on this page, you want to share information about yourself and your teaching philosophy that students and parents would be interested in. Don't forget to include a picture of yourself. So if you have a picture, you can go to Insert, Image, and if you have a picture of yourself on your computer, you can click Choose File, go to your pictures, find it, and upload it, just like we did before. Okay, so don't forget your professional photo. You can also add files. So notice that you could actually click and browse to find a file if you wanted to include something like your resume or teaching philosophy. That's with add files. Once you're complete, hit save. The next page that we're adding, we're going to click the New Page button, is a copyright and fair use page. Click Create. Again, explain copyright and fair use guidelines in age-appropriate language for your students, and provide them with links to additional information and tools online. For example, one of my favorites is www.citationmachine.net, which I can make a link to a website. All right, and click Save. The next page that we're going to create is an announcements page. Now, I need you to make sure that where it says select a template to use, in this case, we're going to choose an announcements template and then click create. Notice this looks a little bit different. We have a new post button that I will want you to create a new post. For example, you can do spelling words for the week. You can do the homework in your subject area for the week. You can do other announcements. So for example, in PE, you might want to do a reminder for them to take home their PE uniforms out of the locker and wash them over the weekend. But you can list whatever it is that you want in this post. Click Save, and you have your first announcement. Remember, I'm asking that you add 3 announcements. So click on the announcements page, and you can add another post. Right, the next page that you're supposed to have is the class rules, and create. Which here, I want you to create a list of rules for your classroom. And a list of consequences. Click Save. The next page that you are to create is your assignments page. Click Create. Don't forget, this is supposed to give your grading policy and any major projects. So you can describe that computer project, how it's graded, what needs to be done, how long it's going to take, any kind of information that you want to include by any major projects. Click Save, create a new page, and this is going to be our helpful links page. Under select a template to use for your helpful links, you should drop down and create a list and create. Now there are some pre-made lists that they have already put together. In this case, we're going to create our own custom list. So we're going to use that template. For the first column, we're going to call it website name. We're going to add a column and call it website address, and drop down and choose a URL type, because a URL is a website address. And we're going to add one last column called description and save. So again, this one looks a little bit different. The page is set up, and I'm asking that you add at least 3 website addresses by clicking add item and typing in that information. For example, I might type in Alabama Virtual Library, and describe what it is. This is a free resource for all citizens in the state of Alabama. It provides access to research tools that include encyclopedias, magazines, journals, atlases, and more. Click Save, and there's my first entry. So I want you to add at least 3 links. The next page that we're going to add is going to be your media page, and create. And in this case, we're going to go to the Insert menu, scroll over and down to Video, and click YouTube. All right, so what we're going to need to do is find a YouTube video that teaches a topic in your content area. For example, if you are a math teacher, you might look for videos that teach a topic in your math area, such as this one. Okay, so once you find a video that you like that teaches something in your content area, click the share button, copy that URL, and back on your web page, you simply paste that URL in. I'm going to change the title of that and save. So what you'll notice is that a white box appears that says YouTube video, that you don't actually see anything until you save the page. Once you save the page, an image of the video appears that your students can now play. All right, one last page to create by clicking the Create New Page button, and we are going to create a calendar. Create. All right, we're not going to type anything on the page itself. We're going to go up to the Insert menu, scroll over and down to Calendar. By default, you should have at least one calendar, which is your email address for ASU. So it should be your username at myasu.alasu.edu. So you're going to check your default calendar and click Select. We're going to leave the height and the width just as they are. You can decide whether or not you want to show a week at a time, a month at a time, or an agenda, which is a list view. So you decide. Choose your time zone. So for us, that would be Central Time. And I like to make sure that I emphasize in the title what this calendar is for, and save. So again, like on the YouTube video, you don't actually see anything on the page itself except the white box that says Google Calendar until I hit save. And now you see the calendar on the page. So if you're wondering, how did I get all of these wonderful items on my calendar, You actually don't add those items here. Those items are added in your Google Calendar through Google Apps. So if you look across the top of the screen where you can jump from your mail to your calendar to your documents to your sites, we're going to click on Calendar. I can look at my calendar as a day, week, month, or an agenda view. To add an event that happens at any time during a given day, you can simply click and type on the day that you want to include, and create event, and that event will show up on that date. If your event has a certain time, you can also type the time in, 9 a.m. baseball game, and create. And notice it looks slightly different because it has a specific time. If this is an event that happens on a regular basis, such as the 3 p.m. faculty meeting, which happens every week, you can click Edit Event and repeat weekly every week on Monday. And you can decide how long that will last, whether it never ends, whether there's a certain number of times that that happens, or if there's a specific date that that no longer happens. For example, at the end of the school year, perhaps. Done. Notice while I'm here, there are lots of other things that you can also add. You can change the end time, put in a location, decide which calendar you're going to add your event to because you can have multiple calendars. Put additional information about the event in the description, add an attachment, give yourself reminders, whether that's a pop-up or an email, or you can actually add a text message if you set up your cell phone. You can enter other people's email addresses to invite them to the event as well. So there's lots of other things that can be done in here, but I simply want you to just create 3 separate events that will show up on your calendar in April or May. Okay. If you're ever interested in adding additional calendars, over under My Calendars, you can create a new calendar, or you can change your calendar settings, which will also allow you to set up your cell phone. You can make your calendars public to put them on the internet. You can set up separate calendars to share with other people. So I would suggest having a personal calendar, a school calendar, a work calendar, maybe a calendar for event organizations that you're a part of. So my PE coaches, you have one for your personal stuff, one for your classes that you teach, PE classes, and have one for whichever teams that you coach would be an idea of different calendars that can be added. All right, so you'll notice when we go back to the calendar on our website, those events have now been added to the calendar. And that would be it. So once you've added all of those pages to your site, you are to copy the website address and paste that in live text. So I simply want you to go to the home page, copy your URL, and log into live text and paste that assignment.